Motor City Dan Campbell, we're going to bite kneecaps off. He's not dumb. Every coach, every equipment guy, every staff member is all in because he's a leader of men.
That's why I'm excited now, because there is a difference fundamentally.
He said it himself that he's got to win games, but we got to see that the progress of the machine's still moving forward. Dan Campbell's leading the charge. It's like Leonidas in 300. Let's go.
This story surfaced about Dan Campbell, and there's been talk, right? And what's been one of the perceived knocks from a distance, right? Because you don't know, because you don't talk to the guy. This is just something where, the concern, you see Dan Campbell, and you saw him just towering over you. I mean, just cut, ripped, football to the max, right? Like football guy to the max. So unjustifiably, he gets that kind of that meathead moniker, right? Is he a football meathead? Fox Sports NFL said Lions coach Dan Campbell isn't bothered by the perception of the coach being, quote, limited strategic football knowledge, unquote. His response to that was, the dumber you think I am, the better.
Absolutely.
That right?
Because I think that he's learned. The one thing about Dan Campbell, and he's proven, is you look at who he's learned under, and obviously coming from New Orleans, not talking about the time that he spent in Miami, but New Orleans under Sean Payton, whatever like this. And what I really noticed, Neil, from being down there is that he's got the right former players in the role, because it's not that they are friends, although I think they are now because of the task at hand and being on the same team like a football team is. But he's got the right guys teaching the right thing, coaching, the proper coaches, and the running backs coach, and the defensive coordinator and the offensive coordinator. He's not dumb. I think it's immediately when he came in last time, and Motor City Dan Campbell, we're gonna bite kneecaps off and stuff like this. Well, people automatically, maybe he did that on purpose to throw it, to throw you off the scent, to be, you think you're dumber, but I don't think at all, because he's a leader of men. Right? Maybe to the acumen that he's not going to score the highest on an SAT test, but does that really matter when you can put? Because one thing the eyeball test tells me is that every player, every coach, every equipment guy, every staff member is all in for the Detroit Lions with Dan Campbell. The most poignant thing, and I mentioned it yesterday, is what Deuce Staley said, is I don't want these guys going through a wall for me. I want them to go through a wall with me. That's the attitude I get. Dan Campbell's leading the charge. It's like Leonidas in 300. Let's go.
It does. You have no choice but to be motivated, though, when you listen to him talk. And the reason why is
it's
because
the self-awareness, maybe the self-awareness, and he's going to always, that's the role that he plays as that type of player that he is, the type of coach. He ain't afraid to weather the storm or answer the tough questions or be in front of it and make it look that way or sell himself short, right? Because he's going to sell himself short to all of us out here, because in the room, that's not the way it is, because they don't look at him like that. Nobody in that locker room trying to get to where they want to get to looks at him like outside perception. So you do that on purpose, us against them, this and that. But if you don't watch him and see that he's a smart guy, right?
Well, absolutely. And the thing that I think he really signifies is his assistants are that line, I think, between the new school of doing things and the old school way of doing things. And look, look, people will take this, depending on what your narrative is, you'll take this whichever way you want to take it. But the moral of the story is this: people are humans, and we just want to know why.
Yeah.
Give us the why. Yeah. That's it.
What do I say?
Here's why.
I don't need to know the right or wrong. I just need to know the why. And the why is, you can see, when he says that I want to put you in the best spot, I'm working hard, and this is for you, man. You got to trust me, stuff like this. He bleeds it. He believes it. He's the one who's in the office. That's why, when you watch Hard Knocks, you see behind it. It's good to see, too, that, he's sitting in the office with Deuce Staley getting ready to go to Indianapolis, and they're going, I like where we're at. Okay, we're coming along. The message is getting there. We got work to do and stuff like this, because it's about the journey along the way and sort of doing all the little things. So to your message, it's that communication, and whether you Leonidas, maybe Mufasa in Lion King or whatever, but the delegation is there, and everybody understands what their role is, whether you're a player or a coach. It's the same sort of thing as what Derek Lalonde, the Wings coach, said, what he learned in Tampa. Managers manage, players play, coaches coach. That's what I see happening with the Lions. And to me, that's a start even before getting the culture foundation right, before you can even go out and try to win a game.
And look, I know what we're talking about here. And again, I'll be consistent. Where I said my thing about Dan Campbell is, what do you do when you're 8-8 and you got to win this game to get in the playoffs, and it's 17-17 in the fourth quarter and you got the ball? Like, that's through all this.
But that's the next level.
That's different. But that's the next level.
That's the next
That's
level.
the next
you know
level.
What?
Exactly.
YT Sparty brings up a great point. We still have this love if they're losing. No, he said it himself that he's got to win games, but we got to see that the progress of the machine's still moving forward. If we're 8-8, having to win that last game, and he's got to make a decision, you better sit back and go, holy cow, we're here at this moment, regardless of the result, right? Because that's growth. Do you ever think after coming off a 3-13 season and to be that, you know what I'm saying? That's how you get that sort of worst to first mentality. But we want to put him in he's gonna be in more uncomfortable situations that he hasn't been in before.
Yeah.
He knows how to lose. He mentioned it in this last Hard Knocks about the little things. He pulled the pants out and got to get the little dirt and the dust and all that out. That's taking the little things and make sure that it's tight before you move it on. So. Yeah, I guarantee we're going to be sitting here questioning some of his decisions, but the decisions he's making is not the same mistakes. I don't think he's going to make the same mistakes. I think he's going to make some new ones that we're going to question, but that's all part of the evolution of this coach and this team.
And for me, he said something too in that Hard Knocks, and I meant to get to this yesterday, and I forgot about it, but he said something to me that I've been kind of searching for a way to articulate this to my kids. When he was breaking down the loss, from the game before against Atlanta, and he said, and this was brilliant, I thought. He said, guys, was that us doing it to ourselves, or was it them doing it to us? It's us doing it to ourselves. I've been looking for years for a way to articulate that to my kids, right? Because I want to teach them to be, when stuff is going bad around you and stuff like that, don't make it worse by making your own mistakes. You know what I'm saying? It's already hard enough.
Do your job.
Do your job. And again, life, NFL football, all of it's the same, where it's hard enough to have success just having to beat the opponent, whatever that opponent is, your job, life, wherever, NFL team. I'm so into mental strength. You and I talk about this a lot on the golf course.
It's the same thing as we played last Monday in DCFC, right? Where I look at you after the round and go, well, if you want to be mad, we got to be mad at ourselves,
right?
Because we didn't get beat. We didn't execute.
We didn't execute.
Right?
Was
so
it them or
that
us?
means
It was us.
What is it for us? Because you and I both is okay. Got to put a little bit more work in, and we don't like that taste. It's the same thing as that, because that's next level stuff, right? Because that wasn't last year. Last year it was, you look at the talent, and it didn't matter the trickery, how he coached, how he played, where we got. You just didn't have the talent to beat the other teams, right? They, until you did at certain times. So now it's getting the work ethic's there, and now they're proving that it's what they do to themselves, right? Like,
yeah.
for example, the first game, guy's got it in his hands. That's why he's on defense, and he drops it. But those are what good teams, and that's the next level, is they make the plays that are there. They make the putts to win. They make, that's execution. And that's
right.
and that's the next level. Because if you have the talent you're supposed to have, and then you got to execute, and it's exciting, because as long as you see forward progress, right, new things, are we getting better? Can you see that? Because that's what you want, because that's how you know you can get to the whatever the destination finish line that you believe. And for us here, it's get to the playoffs and win a playoff game.
Robert Closius says, Neil, that's the best part of Hard Knocks, hearing Dan Campbell talk about winning the very end of the game, how serious he takes that part of practice, a 2-minute drill, the red zone, offense, defense, all of that. And again, guys, this is separate. I've said this, I'll maintain this, I'll always say this, because until we get to that moment, we don't know. What does he do as a coach when all the chips are in the middle of the table and you win to go to the playoffs or you lose and the season's over? That's different. That's different than this. Rose, we'll always go, you got to show us at that moment. All this stuff is nice that we're talking about right now, but it's all part of it. And I think and that's why people are excited. Again, that's why I go back to it, to where with the Martin Mayhew thing from the Matt Millen thing, that was the same people. That was people that were part of those failures. That's what it was. Those were an extension of the same people. Even into Matt Patricia, when Quinn came in here, those same draft failures, those same free agency failures with the Trey Flowers and things like that, they weren't at that part. They weren't at that exit of the highway yet when they came in there. That's why I'm excited now, because there is a difference fundamentally. Same thing with Dan Campbell, the way he talks to the team, the way that he preaches that. Was that them doing that to us, or was that us doing? I love that line. I love that line because, again, life's hard enough. Football's hard enough. For you to have to overcome self-inflicted mistakes, man. Self-inflicted mistakes kill you.
It's the old adage, don't point the finger, pull the thumb. Right? So it's taking accountability, self-awareness, and all this stuff. And the more that he gets every player in there to realize what their job is, and if they're accountable, not only to themselves, but to each other. Right? We saw that with Easy and Hank Fraley talking about, who you letting down. You're letting yourself down, man.